Oh, yeah. My name is Patrick M. Dunn, and you're about to be listening to a special free preview of our movie night pod, which you can usually hear on our Patreon page. But we decided to be a little nice this week, and we're going to throw a bone your way, so enjoy this little nugget. Anyway, we highly encourage you to subscribe to our Patreon. We have hot bonus eps of a very special podcast, like this movie night pod here, and our commercial corner, which is us talking about commercials. So head on over to patreon.com, look for a very special podcast on there, or just check out the show notes. Ooga. Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Night. This is the side Patreon podcast in which we answer the age-old question, does it hold up? I'm your host, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here as always, by my right hand, whoa man, Kat Halstead, the author. Ooh, welcome back, Kat. How are you?
I'm just super fabulous this morning, Patrick. Or this evening.
Whatever time of day it is that how you always say it?
Whatever time it is, I don't know. Time has no meaning anymore. We've been locked away. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. I just know I'm awake.
It's a podcast, so it don't matter. It could be 7 years from now, and someone's just dipping into this for the first time, and they're going to be like, what are they talking about? They're locked away? What? And I apologize if you hear any cute dog noises, because my dog is literally right next to right below me, kind of near the mic, just chewing on a ball, and he just wants me to throw it, and I just refuse to throw it at the moment. So, sorry, Truman, you're just gonna have to wait. All right. What movie are we doing today, Kat Halstead, the author? What hot movie are we doing?
Today we are doing an early 90s flick, Housesitter.
Yes, Housesitter, starring our boy toy, Steve Martin, and our gal pal, GOLDIE Hawn. Always a gal pal, right? She a GP?
Yes.
Eternal GP?
Goldie Hawn is forever a gal pal.
Plus, she sprang forth from her loins, Kate Hudson and Oliver Hudson,
yes,
who continue to bless us in film and television today. I think Oliver Hudson's in a TV show now, right? I feel like he is.
At the very least, he was. He was on that show with the chick from The Office, Jenna Fisher, is that her name?
Yeah, it's the one where they're divorced, but they continue to live with each other. It's like happily divorced or something, or like
yeah.
I don't know what it is. I've definitely seen like 3 episodes.
It's one of those like ABC sitcoms I don't watch.
Is it still on?
I don't even know if it's still on there.
It was definitely a mid-season replacement, whatever year it came out, and I feel like it came back the following season, and then it might have just gone away.
Like, because I remember when it came out, Oliver Hudson was talking about it and all that stuff. What is it called?
But I know that Oliver Hudson and Kate Hudson definitely have a podcast that they do together. That's like sibling rivalry or something. I don't know. I see it on
yeah.
I always get an ad for it for some reason on Instagram, and I'm not sure why. Like, I don't know why I'm that specific audience, but I think I am for some reason. But
Splitting Up Together is what it was called, and it ended in 2019.
Oh, yes. 2 seasons?
Yeah, I got 2 seasons. You know, I freaking loved Oliver Hudson on Rules of Engagement.
He was also great on Nashville for a while when he was kind of like the villainous record exec who, I don't know, was just kind of going against Connie Britton's wishes. But I think, you know what, I think they ended up fucking each other, though. I feel like there was like an episode where they fucked, but I can't remember. It might have been another character. It might have been Hayden Panettiere, whatever her name is.
Oh, and that's right. He was in that Hallmark movie with Candace Cameron Bure that I can never seem to catch. I want to see this one so bad, and I can never seem to catch it. It's Journey Back to Christmas. Ugh. Like, I've caught, like, the end of it. Or, like, it'll start, like, when I have to leave the house and I can't record it for whatever reason.
Ugh, poor Oliver. He had to kiss Candace Cameron Bure on the lips. Ugh. That must have been awful. I wonder what her breath probably smelled like Folgers coffee or whatever this coffee sponsor is.
I was gonna say tuna.
Tuna? Oh, yeah, because she does
the
that.
Tuna spokesperson.
I forgot. It's not even tuna. It's like dried tuna, right? It's like tuna to go.
It's like just the tuna in the packs, I think.
It's not in a can. It's just in like a plastic bag, and you just bring it around where you go, and you just open it up and fucking go to Chow Town on it.
Yeah, something like that. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Candace. I love you.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. You just gave me like a flashback to, I don't know, a commercial that I had to sit through one time with her. Ugh. Sorry. All right. Housesitter. This is a hot movie. It opened on June 12th, 1992. I did the math. We were in the 4th grade. Well, actually, we're in the summer between 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah, no, I had to think for a second. I was like, wait, what years? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I meant. You know.
I majored in English. Give me a break, man.
I love cat math. Cat math is like my favorite thing on the pod. When cats try to figure out like what age she was in a very specific year. She's like that Winona Ryder gif where her face is going back and forth as the numbers are adding up in her head. I love it. I stand. All right. Before we get into Housesitter, we have to do this. We have to talk about the hot movies of June of 1992. This is a hot month.
Okay.
This is a hot summer for movies, but June, very specifically, it's a hot month. Well, we'll get to the end. You'll tell me how hot it was.
Okay.
We ready to go back in the Wayback Machine? We're going to go back to the summer of June 1992. We're gearing up for the 92 summer games, but before we get there, we're gearing up for the hot summer film.
So, like, hold on. It's the summer 1992. We just finished the 4th grade. We're going into the 5th grade.
For me, that's middle school. I don't know about you, but for me, it's middle school.
It was the last year of grade school.
I'm going to be like Zach Morris and the Meet Miss Bliss or whatever years where they're middle school.
Oh my god. So this is, you know what else came out this summer? The only Swan's Crossing.
Ugh.
Summer of Swan's Crossing. This is the summer Kat started to fall in love with soap operas.
This is the year that Kat got tickled by Sarah Michelle Gellar. She was on that?
Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Shane McDermott, who also went on to All My Children. Like, they were on the same show for like maybe 3 days.
Oh yeah, they had that weird crossover period.
Like, but they were not in scenes together, and I didn't realize Sarah Michelle Gellar was leaving, and when I realized Kendall was leaving, but he was staying, I was like, no!
You wanted like a scene where they just, I don't know, they bump hips, they tap asses in the hallway or something. She actually bumps into him.
Like, dude, I would have been okay if Scott Chandler had gotten aged up, or they had de-aged Kendall a little, and we got some Kendall and Scott at that point.
So Kat would rush home from the playground every day at like 2:30 or whatever time Swan's Crossing came on, and she would catch up on all the events.
Swan's Crossing came on at 5 o'clock at night.
5 o'clock at night. She wanted to find out what that submarine was all about, what was going on in that submarine. Why is there a submarine off the coast of Swan's Crossing? I still don't know.
Why was there a submarine and a bunch of guys running around with no hair?
What a show.
Trying to get a rocket formula from kids.
It's on. Is it still on Hulu? Is Swan's Crossing still on Hulu?
It's not on Hulu. It's on Tubi.
Is that how you say it? I thought it was pronounced Tubi TV.
Tubi. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's not like it's not one of those mainstream ones that people actually like pronounce.
Free one, right? Where you get a lot of ads and the quality's not so hot.
I just know my boyfriend will put on hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I love it. Fucking.
I'm like, and they don't like run them in order either, so it's like it jumps around like from the seasons. At least with Dog the Bounty Hunter, I'm like, why? We've watched this like 5 times. I need you to find a new show. Your
boyfriend hasn't figured out there's a storyline that he should be following.
I'm just like, I can't do this. I need you to put something else on. Or like the worst thing is he's gotten better about this in the last few weeks, but he will just like get up and go to bed and leave like Dog the Bounty Hunter on. And I'm sitting here on my laptop and don't realize he's gone to bed. I'm like, where the fuck is he?
You know what? I thought Dog the Bounty Hunter was that show that like, when it came out, it was only watched by people that were older than 40 years old. Do you know anyone that was in their 20s in like the mid 2000s that watched Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Not really.
Did you rush home from the bar on like a Wednesday night to watch it on I don't know, what was it on, TLC or something? Bravo? I don't know what channel. A&E.
Whatever. A&E. I think it was A&E.
Yeah, we think.
I doubt. I think it's more like that thing that maybe if it was like they were doing like the big blocks on the weekend, you might put on while you're like cleaning or something. Kind of like with an I Love the 90s sort of thing.
You know that young Cat Halstead?
It's just like your background noise.
Young Cat Halstead was sitting at home admiring Dog's luscious locks, his long blonde mullety type haircut.
No, I either had like a Laguna Beach marathon on or like I Love the 90s.
Okay. You know what? You wanted to see Mayim Bialik talking about Ninja Turtles all weekend long. All right. Speaking of all weekend long, actually all month long, you want to hear the hot movies of June 1992? This is a great month.
Yes, I'm curious what this like world was.
We're gonna get into a whirlwind of emotions here. So we're gonna start off.
Okay.
There's a lot of movies. I just picked out like the big ones or the ones that I've seen or heard about. June 5th, things kick off with Class Act. Do you remember that movie? Do you know Class Act?
I recognize the title, but I can't put faces to it. I want to say Rob was in it.
No. Hold on. It's a 1992 comedy starring the hip-hop duo Kid and Play.
Oh.
Kid and Play, and their only non-house party film. And the movie's loosely based on The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain. It's just kind of like a modern retelling of it. And I just very quickly glanced through the cast list. It has a pretty solid cast. It's got Karen Parsons, who you may know as Hilary Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
It's got Dougie Doug. Dougie Doug is in it. There's an uncredited appearance by Pauly Shore.
Oh my God.
And cameos by Sam McMurray, who voiced Roy on the Dinosaurs, and Rhea Perlman. Yeah, Rhea Perlman's in this movie. Ooga.
Okay.
Did you ever see this? Like, I definitely saw this a few times. Like, I didn't see it in the theaters, but I definitely caught it on like the TBS rerun in like 96-ish.
I probably caught it on like part of it on like WPIX or something.
Okay. It's just weird because I was like, oh, Kid and Play. Like, they had a great, like, fun film career, filmography. And I looked at their filmography. It's literally like 4 house party movies, this movie, and then a cartoon series in like 1991. I was like, I felt like they were in more stuff, but
I remember the cartoon series. I remember watching it. I can't remember anything about it, but I remember it would be on.
There's definitely a house party movie from 2013 with them in it. They thought in 2013 that House Party was still a viable franchise that needed to be revisited. So good for them, I guess.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you know what? Kid and Play need to eat. They ain't dropping any hot hits, any hot jams. Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody. Wasn't that their big hit?
I honestly don't even remember.
I'm trying to remember what songs I danced to them in the 6th grade dance, the big 6th grade dance. All right, same weekend.
Okay.
Same weekend. You ready for a little shake up, a little mix up?
Give it to me.
We're gonna go into like the 50-year-old dad territory right now with Patriot Games.
I know of it. I've never actually seen it.
It's a spy thriller based on the Tom Clancy novel, and it's a sequel to The Hunt for Red October. But instead of Sean Connery, I believe Alec Baldwin. Sean Connery's in it, but Alec Baldwin's the Jack Ryan role. But they recast him with Harrison Ford in this.
Yeah, I was going to say Harrison Ford is Jack Ryan.
Yeah, well, he's Jack Ryan in Patriot Games and the one that came after. But hold on. This movie was so big. It opened #1 this week and the following week, June 12th, beaten Housesitter. Housesitter, which comes out a week later, is like the hot new movie of the week, and it gets crushed by Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan literally just plays some Patriot Games and wins the war at the cinemas. Cinemaplex. Ooga. All right.
Yeah.
But hold on. All those 3 movies I mentioned are mere nothing compared to what came out on June 18th. Any guesses? This was the biggest movie of the year. It had the biggest opening of the year and also the highest opening weekend of any film up to that point in time?
I don't know, because my guess didn't come out until 1993, so I don't know.
What's your 1993 guess?
My 1993 guess is Jurassic Park.
Think a year before. Think the summer before. Just think what everyone was into that year before.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman Returns. It opened with $46 million on its opening weekend, which seems like if that happened today, it would be considered a dud.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, we can't make a sequel of this movie. It's fucking awful. Yeah, so Batman Returns, it was the most successful movie of 1992. Despite it being highly successful, critics felt it was dark and not family friendly. So Warner Brothers panicked, and this whole drama pushed Tim Burton away. And when we got Batman Forever, like a few years later, it was just more lighthearted and fun, and slowly killed the franchise. You ready for 1 week later for the last hot June 1992 pick?
Yeah.
It's a hot month in the Mrs. and Mr. Goldie Hawn household, because this week, her hubby, Kurt Russell, and Madeline Stowe play a hot couple living in a swanky Los Angeles abode who are being stalked by a horny cop, played by the always excellent Ray Liotta in Unlawful Entry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Remember that movie?
I don't at all.
Oh, it was great. So basically, Kurt Russell and Madeline Stowe, they're this like rich couple or something. Their house gets broken into by a thief, and the wife's like scared. She's like afraid. She always thinks someone's watching her, so they hire he's like a cop. He becomes their like private bodyguard. It's played by Ray Liotta, but then he like gets creepily obsessed with Madeline Stowe. He like hides in the closet and like watches them fuck one night. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. We're in like that weird age where it's the start of like stalker-based movies, because we get like Single White Female, which came out the same year, Cape Fear, The Crush with Alicia Silverstone came out shortly after this, The Bodyguard, Hear No Evil with Marley Maitland, and D.B. Sweeney. They're just like, we got so many movies like that. This was like the golden age of stalker movies. Okay,
so before Lifetime came around and took all the scripts for all the stalker movies.
Pretty much so. I think, you know what? I think this was like Hollywood's redemption for the shittiness of like the way the whole Rebecca Schaefer thing was handled. The actress who was murdered. She was on My Sister Sam with Pam Dauber. Is that it?
Yeah, with Pam Dauber. Rebecca Schaefer was not the only one being stalked back then. There was also Andrea Evans from One Life to Live, Sunset, Passions, Bold and Beautiful. Like, she left acting because she was being stalked. Like, the guy literally showed up on set and, like, chased her fucking around the set.
Yeah, but no one was doing anything, though. People are like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
It's not a crime unless they actually kill you, so there's nothing we can do. Sorry. Hold on. You know what? Single White Female, Unlawful Entry, Cape Fear, The Crush. They helped pave the way for legislative against stalkers. So thank you, Hollywood, for bringing these movies into the world. Thank you. Thank you for making Hear No Evil with Marley Matlin and D.B. Sweeney. Which, have you ever seen that? Oh, it's like a Lifetime movie, but in movie theaters form.
I don't think I have.
What? You've never seen Hear No Evil?
Yeah.
Not even by accident?
Yeah, I don't think so.
You've never sit at home on a Saturday afternoon in 1996, you're bored, you're done with your, working on your, like, solar system project, like painting styrofoam balls, and caught the end of Hear No Evil?
No.
Ugh. You missed out. You know what? You missed out on the golden age.
I guess so.
I'm gonna go on to Amazon.com. I'm gonna find a copy of Hear No Evil, and I will ship it to you. I will ship it to your new home, Kat's new home. That'll be our housewarming gift. A copy of Hear No Evil.
Oh, fun!
All right. Looking back at June 1992, on a scale out of 1 out of 5, stalkers hiding in the closet. How many stalkers hiding in the closet would you give this month?
Could we get a better rating system? Because I feel like stalkers hiding in the closet, like, that's not a good rating system.
All right, how about on a scale out of 1 out of 5, con artists tricking you into marriage?
Okay, so we've got Housesitter, Batman Returns,
Class Act, Unlawful Entry, and Patriot Games.
Class Act.
Movies for your dads. All the dads out there. All the hot dads who just want to go to the movies.
So weird, because my dad, like, never went to the movies.
If he wanted to, he could have saw Patriot Games. And he would have been bedazzled by Harrison Ford.
I'll give this a 4 out of 5. I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5. Stalkers out in the closet. I'll go with that scale system because I have no qualms with it.
Yeah. No, I just think it's so funny, like, I just didn't grow up with a dad who went to the movies. My dad, like, never went to the movies.
You mean your dad never took you to see Spice World in 1998?
Like, my dad would drop me off at the theater, but he wasn't going to go see a movie. Like, I think I only saw 2 movies with my dad in a theater.
Can I take a hot guess of what they're going to be?
Yeah, take a hot guess, because you're not going to get it.
I'm going to go with The Cutting Edge, starring D.B. Sweeney, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Christy Swanson.
Wrong and wrong.
Oh, I thought I was going to be right.
The first one was The Great Mouse Detective.
Whoa! Plot twist.
Yes, and what I remember is, like, he left in the middle of the movie to go to the smoking section.
Oh, is that like in the back of the theater?
Yeah, in the back of the theater. The smoking section, people. And then the second one, this is so freaking, like, okay, the second one was The Perfect Storm.
The, like, George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, Trapped at Sea movie, where they get, like,
yep,
their boat gets capsized. Oh, I love it.
Yep.
I love it. I have a hot question for you.
Okay.
When did The Great Mouse Detective come out? Because I do not ever remember that being in theaters for some reason. Like, was it a re-release or something?
No, it was the first release. It was because it's from the 80s. I want to say 1986.
Really? I have
yeah.
I just thought that was one of those movies that came out in the 70s and maybe came out in, like, theaters in the 90s or something, but I don't know.
No, it's from 1986. It is from that, like, lower period, though, of Disney films.
The not so hot. Yeah. But you know what?
I will say, my boyfriend loves that era, though, of Disney films.
I do, too. I have, like, no problems with it. Like, I love The Black Cauldron. I know you hate it. But I love The Great Mouse Detective. I love The Fox and the Hound. I just love all those, like, shitty Disney movies that no one likes.
I cry at The Fox and the Hound.
It's a great time.
I'll just, like, be like, hey, what you watching on Disney Plus? And he's like, oh, The Great Mouse Detective. I'm like...
It's a hot night of The Great Mouse Detective, 46 episodes of Dog the Bounty Hunter, and then, I don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. That's, like, what I just picture his life. Literally.
I'll just walk into the bedroom, like, because he'll play Disney Plus and listen to it while he's at work, too. So, like, he'll just be, like, at work and he's listening to Pinocchio. And it's, like, all the Disney movies I'm not, like, in love with, he'll watch over and over again. I'm like, can we please watch them?
I want to know his hot thoughts on Robin Hood.
He never saw Robin Hood until recently. And that's, like, one of my absolute favorites.
What?
I love Robin Hood. Like, I watched this so much as a kid.
I have a hot new project.
Okay.
I want to print out that, like, list of, Disney, like, all the Disney cartoons or whatever, and then he has to number them, like, from his best to his most favorite to his least favorite, and then I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna try to guess what his list is.
You're gonna try and guess his list? Okay.
Yes, but so are we gonna say The Great Mouse Detective is number 1 on that list? Is that what we're going with?
My guess would be The Rescuers is number 1.
Ooh. Shout out to The Rescuers.
But you know what was really cute? He, like, one night he did put on The Little Mermaid because he knows I like it.
I mean, I think everybody likes The Little Mermaid. Like, even the boys like The Little Mermaid. Let's be real. Let's get dangerous.
Actually, The Little Mermaid totally ties into this, too.
Ooh. All right, let's hear it.
Oh, because the dog, Max in Little Mermaid, looks exactly like the dog in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Shit, Housesitter, yeah.
Did I not, like, tell you that the other night?
You did. You literally told me that.
I'm like, I don't remember. I was really, really out of it towards the end on those sleeping pills.
I want to point something out.
It's like the first night they kicked in fast.
I want to point something out. The only 2 times I've ever seen that type of dog is in The Little Mermaid and this movie. I have never seen that dog in real life. I have never seen that dog in any other movie.
Unless it's like, is that the same kind of dog they used for the Shaggy dog back in the day?
But this dog's like bigger than that, though, I feel like. I feel like this dog is...
Like this, it did legit. I was like, is that a man in a dog costume?
Yeah, all right. So there's a dog in Housesitter. We'll get into it. It's not really like a major plot point, but there's a dog featured in the movie.
It's not.
It shows up a lot. It's always with, like, Goldie Hawn just buys a dog for some reason in the movie. It's like halfway through the movie.
We don't see her do it. It's just there.
No, Steve Martin comes home one day and all of a sudden, like, a dog just jumps on his lap.
A dog, house is furnished, all that stuff.
I just want to point out, it's like It looks like a shaggy polar bear. That's like how big this dog is. This dog is fucking enormous. Mm-hmm. It probably weighed 200 pounds. It could probably run through a wall. It would tear an intruder apart. This is what Madeline Stowe and Kurt Russell should have gotten in Lawful Entry instead of hiring Ray Liotta. They should have just, you know what? Kurt Russell should have just telepathically called up his wife in real life and said, "Hey, can you send me the dog from Housesitter for the weekend? We're gonna hire it instead of Ray Liotta, and our weird erotic thriller could have turned into like a fun family movie with a dog."
If only.
Wouldn't you have rather seen a Kurt Russell and Madeline Stowe romantic comedy with the same dog from Housesitter?
Yes.
Ugh, just imagine that world. Just, you know what? It would have been the summer of this dog. This dog would have been like the pizza rat of its time.
Yeah.
Ugh, we're going to get a time machine. We're going to go back and make it happen. Let's make it happen. Or we could just write Unlawful Entry fanfic.
I'll leave that to you.
All right. That's my weekend project. All right. But speaking of Max the dog, you ready? You ready to get into the wild world of Housesitter?
I'm ready.
This movie is a trip. That's all I got to say. It's a cute, quirky romantic comedy with like a lot of illegal activity going on, a lot of ethical dilemmas going on, but you know what? They made it work. And they never got exposed. The characters never got exposed. So, you know what? Good for them.
That's true. They didn't.
They get caught and then they have to apologize to the whole town and I don't know, then they fall in love for reals. No. Mm-hmm. They get away with their crime. I love it. I love it, when the villains get away. In any other movie, they would have been the villains. Let's be real.
True. Okay, so, we start off, we get Steve Martin in his hot little sports car, driving up to a house with a woman in a blindfold.
Yep. Dana Delaney. And then unknown Dana Delaney, would you say?
No, I feel like she was known. I could be wrong.
I feel like this is the first time I've ever seen Dana Delaney, though.
I mean, you and me, maybe.
China Beach. She was big on China Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I'm pretty sure. I was trying to look it up. I was like, China Beach. That was her show. We've talked about how we didn't watch it, but our moms did or something.
Yeah.
At least my mom did.
It's a show that our moms watched and you read about in TV Guide.
Exactly, but we never watched. I don't think I was even allowed to be in the room during it.
You saw the full page black and white ad in TV Guide when you were trying to find out what time Snick, what was on Snick that night.
Okay, so he's driving up with Dana Delaney, who is just coming off the China Beach era. So she's trying to break into the movies.
Probably, I'm guessing, her first theatrical role, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably.
And can we talk about her pixie haircut, her Tinkerbell haircut?
Style in this movie just really irritated me.
She kind of reminded me of a poor man's Marcy Darcy for some reason. I don't know. The director of the movie is like, you know what? I kind of want to go for a that Marcy Darcy look, but slightly less sexier for some reason.
She's got that very preppy yuppie thing going, and it's just very questionable to my 2020 brain.
Even her fashion choices, just the clothes that she wore was just a little off.
I was trying to figure out if this was a New England preppy, I went to one of the big fancy schools like Harvard kind of thing, or what.
Yeah, I could never tell if she was on her way to work or if she had a neighborhood board meeting or what. Why was she always dressed like that?
What did she do all day? I was so confused.
I honestly, I just feel like she just goes around all day, just goes to the local shops and gets lunch with her gal pals.
Yeah,
and then just walks around Dobbs Mill all day.
Yeah. So basically, her character's name is Becky.
Yep.
And Steve Martin's character is Newton Davis.
But they call him Newt.
Or Davis.
Yes.
He tries to go by his last name more often, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, he makes a comment that he hates his name, I think, very early in the movie.
He and Becky are driving around in what looks like the country, but it's really just this small town. I think he drove around in circles for a little bit to throw her off.
Yeah, well, it was kind of weird because it definitely looked like they were driving on this very deserted road, but 15 minutes later when Goldie Hawn's walking through Dobbs Mill looking for the house, she finds the house and
she like just stumbles on it.
She finds it in like a settled area of town.
Yeah, it's like just off like the main drag.
Yeah, but it seemed like they were driving forever though to get to this place. Like it seemed like they were on this like off dirt road.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So he pulls up to this house and he like takes off her blindfold, and it's this big yellow house, beautiful house, wrapped with a big fucking red ribbon around the whole fucking thing.
and it's like overlooks this beautiful like quaint little pond.
Yeah, it's like it's got like some good acreage on it. This man put the money where he wanted it to be for like the rest of his life into this land, in this house. And she's all like, "Oh, what is this?" And then he's trying to propose, and she's like, "Oh God, no,
Yeah,
no."
I had a question. I had a question about this scene, and this is never really it's never really brought up again in the movie. Were Becky and Newton actually dating?
You know, I'm kind of wondering.
Because he mentioned something. He tells her when he's proposing to her that he's been in love with her since like the 9th grade or something.
Yeah.
When she's reintroduced in the film shortly after, she's never really brought up as his ex or anything. It just seemed like he had a crush on her and maybe they were friends and he just like randomly picked her up one day and was just like, "Hey, I'm going to propose to you." That's the impression that I got.
So, there is the point where I did ask you, is Newton Davis really a Steve Urkel?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he's the quirky neighbor that lives next door. He's kind of nerdy. He's into weird things like architecture. Mm-hmm. And he's been trying to get this girl forever, trying to land her. She's always saying no. Maybe they went to the prom together because, I don't know, her date stood her up. But, you know, he thought that was the ticket in. And then he got catapulted to outer space for a little while. Then he came back to Earth. And, I don't know, he's like, now's the time. Now's the time.
Becky doesn't really act like Newton is her ex-boyfriend.
When she finds out that Goldie Hawn's character and Newton are married, she's like happy for them. She's like ecstatic.
She's like, "That's great." She's like, "Finally, he'll stop stalking me."
And there's something else I wanted to point out too. I never got the impression that Steve Martin and Dana Delaney were the same age.
Seriously, how old are these people supposed to be?
Because I kind of gathered Dana Delaney early 20s and Steve Martin, I don't know. Steve Martin's age is a mystery to me.
See, I was kind of thinking like maybe Becky is in her late 20s, early 30s.
Ooh, you're aging her a lot. I was getting like way younger vibes than that.
No. And this is because that 80s aged thing where people look way older. So, but I was still thinking, I was like, okay, they have to have had enough time out of school that maybe Becky has gone and come back. Okay, because she definitely doesn't dress like the rest of Dobbs Mill.
No, yeah, she kind of has like a city slicker style to her. Like, maybe she went to college. She went to Boston University, and I don't know, majored in nothing. She probably just freaking liberal arts. Because what is she doing with her life? Nothing.
She was probably there to get her MRS.
Oh yeah, what's that? I have no idea what that is.
To get married.
Oh.
To become a Mrs.
Oh, okay.
You've never heard that before?
No, never did. But you know what? She didn't meet the Chad, the Brad, or the Tad that she thought she would when she was at BU. She came home, she graduated, lonely-hearted, and was like, oh, fine, I guess I'll just fucking hang out with fucking Newt. Ugh. I mean, I guess he's, you know what, he is an architect, but he's like he's just a low-level employee. He's not an associate or anything.
He's like a junior associate or something. Like,
I don't even think even that. He's like I feel like he's just like a new hire at this place.
Well, like he's been there for a while. And that's the other reason why I'm thinking like early 30s is he's been there for a while, but he hasn't made any progress where like people think he should. But
yeah, he gets the Passover, I think. You know, he has a lot of good ideas. Like this house, like we have to talk about the house. This house, they specifically made it for the movie, and then they tore it down after the movie ended. Mm-hmm. It is like the most futuristic, but yet timeless looking house you'll ever see. It's hard to describe. It's got like modern. It's got a modern look to it.
The one in the movie is based on an actual plan. There are houses that look like this all across the country.
Oh yeah, people fell in love with this house. Like there's I went into like a random house blog article that I found that is written about this house.
Mm-hmm.
The author of that article just like went into great detail and all the architectural influences, and there was like hundreds of comments of people talking about this house.
Yeah.
Like, people were obsessed with this fucking house.
I mean, it's got an interesting floor plan.
It does. And it has that weird thing too where you could tell that when they started doing the inside scenes, it doesn't match what the outside looks like.
Yeah.
Which I love. It's like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside than it is the outside.
I mean, if you look at there's a YouTube channel where someone has actually gone through and like put together the floor plans of houses and does like virtual walkthroughs. You can see how they don't match the inside at all, the way stuff is like arranged for TV. Like I was watching The Bewitched House, and it was like there are rooms that would be jutting out in all kinds of weird angles and stuff.
Yeah, well, the thing is, for television, you got to make the rooms bigger to fit actors, so you can space them out enough, and also allow the filming crew and all the soundstage people and stuff. So that's why the Brady Bunch house is fucking enormous, but you look out at the outside, it looks like it'd be like a 3-room house at best. You
know how I feel about the Brady Bunch house. I have issues. I think I finally figured it out, though. Jan and Philip were in the boys' room, but Carol turned it into her office.
Call back to the Very Brady Christmas, like episode 8 or 9 or something of the pod.
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. I have
2013.
Even before.
All right, the house is a modern marvel. This was Newt's, I guess, his dream project. This is like this is why he didn't get promoted at work, because while he should have been doing working on client projects, he was actually working on designing and building this house. That's literally why he got passed over, because he'd sit at work all day, he'd be doodling, sketching rooms of this house, while I don't know, they're trying to build the new Bank of America down the street.
Yeah, he got it done though. This was his passion project.
And we later learn that he basically got the money to build the house from his dad, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. It comes up as a weird subplot, because I think Becky is kind of cunty about the idea of the house, and she's like, I mean, I don't know where he got the money from it.
Yeah. Where do you think he got the money, bitch? Girl, ugh. Okay, Becky just drives me crazy.
Yeah, alright.
This whole movie, I'm just I don't trust her at all.
Becky's a drip, right? 100% a drip.
Yeah. Oh.
She could fill a swimming pool. So that's how big of a drip she is.
Totally.
Sorry, Becky. Sorry, Dana Delaney. We love you in
Desperate Housewives.
I don't know, that season of Desperate Housewives, and what was that other show? Presidio Med or something that you're on?
No, Body of Proof.
Body of Proof.
Or Body of Proof, something like that.
And I don't know, she's in a bunch of other failed television. I feel like she's on one season wonders. A lot of one season wonders. Nothing ever sticks around long enough.
I think her seasons are more a 2-season thing. She starts off strong in some whatever the hot genre is for middle-aged women of a certain age, and then it fizzles out.
I feel like she's it's a mid-season replacement. It's a show that premieres in March to decent numbers. It's got a little bit of buzz. And then the following year, they're ready to come back and make it happen all again. And fucking the short wick fizzles out, and that's it. Then she's on to the next project.
Something like that.
Then they throw her ass on Desperate Housewives or something to get the world into her again. Toe to toe with Nicolette Sheridan or whoever her nemesis was.
I think it was Marsha Cross.
Marsha Cross. I feel like Marsha Cross's nemesis is with everyone though. So let's be real. All right. So,
okay.
Where are we? We're literally in the beginning of the movie.
We're literally at the start. So he tries to propose with a fucking house, and she's like, oh god, no.
She taps her foot like Sonic the Hedgehog when you leave the controller down for too long.
Yeah, she's just not here for this. The guy fucking built you a house. This man worships you, and you're just no.
He drives a convertible.
So, yeah, she breaks his heart. He's destroyed every hope and dream he's had since the 9th grade.
Yeah, and he leaves town for forever quote unquote, forever. And moves to Boston.
He's like, I'm never going to live here. I'm going to just go back to Boston, because he's apparently been living and working in Boston this whole time.
Yeah, that's right. We learned that Dobbs Mill is 50 miles south of Boston.
So that's not the worst, an hour commute?
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, Massachusetts traffic, so probably 4-hour commute.
Oh, God.
The train hasn't been built yet, the T. And actually, the town that they filmed the movie in, Cohasset, Mass, it's probably more 25 to 30 miles away, but mileage is irrelevant. And Dobbs Mill does not exist in this dojo.
So she breaks this man's heart. He goes back to Boston, and we come back to him a few months later.
He's hanging out with Peter McNichol.
Yeah. And
two of them are buddies.
I am expecting him to start summoning demons and kidnapping babies at any moment.
What are you referencing?
Because he's in Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was like, where are you going with this?
Every time I see him, I think Ghostbusters 2, and I'm expecting him to start talking some creepy painting and try to kidnap babies.
You know what? In my memory, Peter McNichol had a bigger role in this movie for some reason, but then when I went back and watched this last week, he's in it for 5 minutes, and I was like, why does my childhood memory have this bigger memory of Peter McNichol being in this movie?
I don't know, man.
I like this character though. You know what? I want a buddy movie or a buddy sitcom with Newton Davis and Peter McNichol just living in the city. I want their I don't know, the summer in the city with them two just trying to go to bars and picking up women and stuff and failing miserably, and just all the quirky adventures of two bachelors and maybe their 30s. We don't know. So, all right. So what happens next is it's the premiere, the grand opening of some new building that I guess their company worked on. I don't really know is it a bank? Is it I couldn't tell what it was, but it wasn't an impressive looking building.
It's just a big giant office building. It's just a big giant office building.
Newton Davis is unimpressed with this building. He's just this is just a fucking cookie cutter building. He's talking to the boss of his company, I think, right? Was he telling his boss that this building is nothing. This is just a mere cookie cutter, and he's worked on better projects. This guy's I'm surprised he didn't fire him on the spot.
Yeah, for real.
I think, you know what? I think this was Newton Davis's elevator speech. I think he tried to work in some of his personal architectural experiences, but he just led with the wrong thing.
He's like, you're going back. You're just going to be the guy who puts little trees on the models. That's all you're going to do.
Yeah. That's, you know what? You're the guy that goes to Hobbytown and buys the little fake trees. Little mini trees. That's you. You're the fucking intern. You're our intern now.
So, yeah, they're at this, Hungarian restaurant.
The Budapest.
Yes.
They bump into... Actually, no. So, Peter McNichol and Steve Martin, Newton Davis, are talking, and Peter McNichol's trying to, make him forget all about Becky. You need to forget Becky. You just need to have, a hot fling. And they bump into Goldie Hawn, and he's kind of how about her? And for some random reason, she's pretends she doesn't know English, and she's speaking in Hungarian.
Yeah.
I don't know. She says her name tag says Gwen or whatever, because that's her quote unquote name. We're not sure if that's her real name or not.
Yeah.
And I don't know. She kind of blows them off, and she goes back to work. It's a few minutes later. I guess the party, whatever was going on, kind of disassembled, and Newton's just kind of sitting at the bar all alone. He's doodling on a napkin, and he's talking to Gwen, the waitress, who he thinks she doesn't know English at all. He thinks that she doesn't understand English, and he's just kind of confessing his love for Becky, the history of the house, basically everything in his life up to that point.
Yeah.
And...
basically his entire Steve Urkel life.
And she makes a comment in English, and he's like, wait, you speak English? And she's just yeah, bitch, I speak English. And
well, it's that one of the other workers asks her something, and she just replies in English, and he's just wait, what?
Oh, that's it, yeah.
What the fuck?
I just want to throw this out there too. So, she's a waitress. She's a customer-facing staff member, so of course she's gonna know some English.
She's got to.
Yeah. So I don't know why Newton Davis was surprised when he heard her answer in English. And it's not because
he's an idiot.
And it's not she answered something very complicated. She literally just said yes, or it was a one-word answer.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, he confronts her outside. It's the restaurant closes. He confronts her outside. he's kind of like, oh, like, why did you pretend to be Hungarian? And she's like, I don't know, like, just fucking, I was bored. I just wanted to mess with you. You just seemed like the perfect guy to mess with at the moment. I guess he offers to buy her a cab, but she's like, I live close by. So he's like, all right, I'll like walk you home. So they go on this like big walk through like the city.
Well, he's trying to like be like, can I give you a ride home? I could go for getting laid tonight if she's down. But he's not smooth. He's not smooth at all.
Oh no way. He's as you said, he's Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
Can I have some cheese? So the two of them go on this like weird romantic walk all around Boston for, I don't know. The scene's only a minute long, but it could have been hours. Like, we're not really sure like how much time elapsed.
Yeah.
But they literally end up back at the restaurant. And he's like, wait, we're back at the restaurant. And she's like, yeah, I live above it.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why did you walk me all around town? And she's like, I told you I live close by, but like you insisted on walking me home. So I was like, fuck, I'll just go along for the ride.
Yeah.
She ends up inviting him in, and then they end up banging. And then it's like, I don't know, he wakes up in the middle of the night and leaves, but he leaves behind the drawing of the house on a cocktail napkin.
Yeah, the little like napkin drawing.
Yeah, because I guess he was just weirdly depressed at the bar that night and just started doodling on the napkin and drew the house because he was thinking of Becky. You know what? That's probably what sprang forth him wanting to bang Gwen, let's be real.
Yeah.
Because he was thinking of his lady friend. So she wakes up the next morning and she is literally like, you know what? I fucking hate this place. Boston's such a dirty city. Smells weird. Smells like trash. I got fucking homeless people that live outside my doorstep. My door doesn't even have a lock on it. My apartment door doesn't even have a lock on it. She takes that napkin. She gets on the next bus to Dobbs Mill. There's a bus that goes straight to Dobbs Mill, by the way.
You know, there are buses that go to those little towns.
She hops on it. She doesn't know the address. She literally just like walks around town one afternoon. Just walks around all of Dobbs Mill, just looking at every house, comparing it to the napkin.
Yeah.
Pretty much finds it without any issues. Like, she just immediately finds it.
I mean, I think she probably, like, circled around, like, Okay, so this is the way I'm picturing it. The bus drops her off in, like, the middle of downtown.
Yeah, like in the park. Like, it's, like, near a park, I think. I just feel like she...
Yeah, it's, like, right by the, like, local park. She kind of starts to walk around town, and, like, a circle is probably my best guess. Because you kind of, like, the way towns were, like, you had the town center, and then everything sprang up around it.
Yes.
So she's probably, like, going around, trying to find it, and his house is probably, like, maybe on, like, her third lap.
Her third loop around. Yeah, she finds it pretty quickly, and the door is unlocked, and she just kind of is like, okay, all right, I could definitely live here.
Yeah, there's no lock on the door. Like, the ribbon from before is just, like, falling down. Like, nobody's come to remove this ribbon. You don't think his parents are like, this is depressing?
Yeah, all right.
Let's go take that ribbon down.
Yeah, there's a time jump, so it's like, what, like 3 months between the proposal and this?
Yeah.
What's happening now?
Yeah.
It's a relatively fast amount of time. Like, not that much time has elapsed.
Not a lot of time has passed, but, you know, these people...
They haven't seen Newton Davis since then, so, like, who knows where he's been.
And he, like, hasn't talked to his parents. He hasn't talked to anybody in town. He didn't do the depressing thing and call Becky every night at 3 a.m. crying.
No, he just did the Irish goodbye, the old Irish goodbye, and left. And so Gwen, a.k.a. Goldie Hawn, she basically knew that she could have free reign of this house for at least a decent amount of time before she got caught.
Yeah.
He said it's a small town. He still owns the house. He still owns the land. No one's living in it. It's been vacant ever since. So she's like, fuck, I'm going to go move into a house. So she sees how big the house is, and then she decides she's going to go out into the town and buy food and some furniture and some supply, like the necessities. Like, the way she does it is great.
She's going to go buy, like, whatever she can afford until she gets to the local market, which is like one of those old school stores.
Yes. All right.
Small town stores where they still have credit.
I want to point something out. So the town of Dobbs Mill does not exist, but the movie was filmed in Cohasset, Massachusetts, which was a town that was like maybe 20 minutes from where I lived. And this is literally like small town America. This is the town that has the quaint little shops, has the little marketplace, the little general store, the local hardware store. You know, you don't go to the big mom and pop stores. You don't go to Lowe's. You don't go to, Walmart. These things don't exist in this town. What you see in the movie is literally the town.
Here's the thing: I've lived in those tiny ass towns, like out here in Colorado. I've lived in those little towns, like where you go to the local little market. That's what you have, unless you're gonna go drive an hour to a bigger city to actually go to like a name brand chain store.
So she shows up at the little general store. And she notices that one of the customers says, put it on my account. So she's like,
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try something here. So she grabs a bunch of food and she's like, I'd like to put this on the Newton Davis account. And the guy's like, oh, Newton Davis doesn't have an account here anymore. He left town 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Becky's in the store. I just want to point out, she's in like the back of the store. And
because Becky has nothing going on in her life. Can we be fucking real? What does this bitch have going on?
Yeah, she hears Newton's name come up and her like eyes perk up and she's like watching this woman. And so the store clerk's like wildly intrigued by the idea of a Newton Davis account because I guess he must have closed his account and left. So she's like, well, I guess he wants to reopen it now.
Or I don't think he ever had an account.
But he definitely knows who he is.
Yeah.
Gwen's like, oh, like, you know what? Like, he's back in town now. We're living at the old vacant house again, and we're married. Yeah, we're married now. We got hitched. He'll be down on the weekends, but I'll be living out my days here.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. So he goes along with the idea, hands Gwen her bag of groceries. She walks out of the store, and like Becky immediately like chases her down the street. And
Becky's like, hold on, there's gossip.
Yeah.
There's gossip. Becky is in this for the fucking gossip. Not because she wants to fuck Newton Davis. Or she's jealous. She's in it for the fucking gossip.
Yeah, she's like, whoa, I want to hear about this. So she approaches Gwen. And she's like, I mean, you got food. Now you need hardware. Now you need cookware. Now you need furniture. So she's like, takes her to all these places. They end up having like a cute lunch somewhere. And like they have this whole day. She buys all this stuff. I just want to know how she was like walking around town carrying all this stuff because it's established that she doesn't have a car. And I don't think Becky drives either for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't get the impression that she has a car either.
Becky is always just like out jogging.
Yeah, she walking by or something. Is Becky a stalker? Hold on. Is Becky a stalker? That's the question.
She's definitely stalking Gwen.
And later on, Steve Martin's character, when she starts to get like a weird attraction for him now that he's unavailable.
I don't know if it's like a gossip addiction or what, but like this bitch is like queen busybody of town. Like that is her like purpose in life, is to be the busybody of Dobbs Mill.
Yes, she's the Hedda Hopper.
And act like she's better than everybody. With her like sweatshirts and pearls and awful plaid. Every fucking thing this woman wears except for like the party scene at the end is fucking plaid.
She's dressed like she's always dressed like she's like ready to go to like a ski lodge party or something.
She just got done having like lunch at the country club.
Can I ask something?
Which is why I don't understand her in this like she does not look like someone from a small town.
I have another question for you, too. Does Becky have friends?
Huh?
Does Becky have friends?
I feel like she's the only one person this age who's single in town. Like, I think if there's anybody in her, like, age group in town, they have kids. They are married.
Oh, yeah, they don't want anything to do with her anymore?
Yeah, like, this is the way I see Becky. She was, like, the popular pretty girl in high school, right? Went to college to get her MRS and didn't get a man, but maybe she got like some kind of post-grad arts thing, you know, because she's fancy.
She's probably like a dance instructor for like teenage girls for some reason.
She's definitely not like a lawyer or anything. She doesn't have a job because she's in this fucking tiny ass town all fucking day.
Does she live with her parents? Is her live-in arrangement established?
You know what? This is what I think. I think her parents are retired. They're down in like Florida.
And they leave the house with her?
And she's in charge of the house because
they don't want to get rid of it?
That is the only way I can think of that she has a house to live in.
Like you feel like I bet you her dad owned a farm or something. made a decent amount of money.
They, like, live in town. She, like, lives in town, but it's a big house. Like, maybe the dad was the local lawyer or something. Or the local doctor.
The local banker. He was the local banker.
Maybe. Like, something where, like, he's got the money to support a grown-ass daughter to go to a good school and not actually do anything with the degree she gets. And, like, he's just like, okay, honey, you gotta get married. You gotta get married, honey. Time to get married. And then, you know, Newton Davis proposes, and she's like, no. And the parents are like, you know what, fuck you, Becky, we're going to Florida.
Yeah, Becky Dad's like, you know what, we want to sell this house by 1995, so the clock is ticking, Becky. I know you, don't be a little prissy, picky bitch. Like, Newton, he's got some kind of dreams and aspirations. He is an architect, after all. We don't have a town architect. That's a first. That's a first here in Dobbs Mill. He comes from a good family.
But he built you a nice house, Becky. Why did you say no to this man, Becky? He built you a fucking house. This is your daughter, Margaret.
I want something more, Dad. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Maybe a guy that owns a boat. And Newton hates the ocean.
Damn it, Becky. We can't do this anymore. You gotta go find yourself a man, or I'm gonna pick one for you.
Oh, I could see it. It'd be even worse. It'd be the 40-year-old virgin would show up.
Like, think about it. Like, 3 months after, like, this whole, like, Newton Gwen thing, like, fizzles down and they're, like, happy together. And Becky's like, I could have had him.
You know what?
Like, Dad shows up from Florida with some, like, just random-ass guy. Like, okay, Becky, this is who you're marrying.
I feel like you could recut this movie as the origin story of Becky becoming, like, a criminal mastermind to the joke, like Harley Quinn, for some reason. I don't know why. So she just loses her mind and just goes on this crazy crime spree in town. She dresses up in some theatrical costume and just, like, robs the local bank and the local hardware store.
Well, like, she's like, Gwen gets away with it, why can't I? Because, Becky, you're a fucking bitch.
You know, 3 months after this movie ends, Becky tries to, like, burn down the Davis house. And
everybody's like, Becky, what's going on? It was supposed to be me. It was supposed to be me.
It was supposed to be me.
But she turned him down.
I want the Stalker sequel series where Becky, you know, is like, she starts off with little childish pranks, like she toilet papers the house on Halloween, but then it turns into bigger things, like she steals the dog or something. And
like, okay, by now in Dobbsville, Becky is like that still single old cat lady.
Bitter old bitch.
So, like, the parents died before the, like, timeline to sell the house, and she got left the house, and she's just gonna live in it forever.
All right.
And they died under mysterious circumstances.
She's literally the living embodiment of the cat lady on The Simpsons.
Yeah, she's the cat lady. And, like, every year the Davis house gets, like, toilet papered. And, like, one year she, like, goes to go do it, but, like, the teenagers are like, lady, what are you doing? Like, by now Gwen and Newton have teens, and they're like,
yeah.
Dad, that crazy cat lady is, like, toilet papering the house.
I love it. I love it.
Because, like, think about, like, okay, so it's 1992. Newton and Gwen would have, like, say, a 15-year-old by, like, 2010.
I feel like Gwen would have waited a little while for some reason. She wanted to keep that bod.
Yeah, like, they probably waited a little while. And then when it happens, like, oh crap, we're gonna have a baby. What do we do? That's a whole nother movie.
I feel like it would have been an accidental pregnancy, too, for some reason.
But then, like, it happened again a couple years later, so they got a couple teens, and, like, the teens are just, like, they look up from their phones in 2010, and their laptops, and, like, they're in the loft, and they go, Dad, Mom, that crazy cat lady is toilet papering the house. And Gwen goes out there, and she's like, Becky, really? Really, Becky?
They sick Max the dog.
You had your chance, honey. It's time to move on. Do you want me to call Boomer for you? And then Gwen hires some guy named Boomer who, like, clears Becky out of all her money.
Becky and Gwen have this, like, hot day, and Gwen's basically walking back to the house. She's just taking the stroll back to the house, and she passes, like, the local, I think it was, like, a yard sale or garage sale, like, at the school. Some kind of, like, outdoor sale.
Yeah, it's just, like, it's like a fundraiser for the school, like a rummage sale. That it sounds like they do probably like every year, so people like donate their stuff and then the proceeds go to the school. Like my church did that when I was a kid.
She's walking by and she sees this really cute recliner chair that she really wants. It's like the kind of chair you can lean back and fall asleep in.
Yeah, it's like the perfect recliner. It's like comfortable, it's broken in, but it's not like falling apart.
She sits on the chair and she's like talking to the guy who's selling it, and she's like, oh my god, I love it. She's like, can you deliver it to whatever the address is? And he's like, what did you say? You know, this address. And he's like, that house is vacant. And she's like, well, not anymore, since me and my husband moved there. And she's like, Newton Davis. And he's like, well, I'm his dad. And she's like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm in this deep now. Now I'm in this deep.
It's like, shit, this con's ending fast.
So now she has to, like, spin the wheels. So now, now she's, like, hanging out with the parents. She's hanging out with Newton's parents, the mom and the dad. She's invited to their house, and she has to, like, explain herself. And she just keeps creating this elaborate lie, and it just keeps going further and further. Meanwhile, across town in Boston, Newton Davis is like, all right, I think it's time to sell the house. You know what? I'm ready to move on. I had a hot one-night stand. It was a good night. You know what? Maybe I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
I'll just get rid of that house. I'll sell it. So he goes to, like, he grabs a for sale sign from somewhere, drives down to the house, and he shows up. Furniture everywhere. There's, like, it's furnished.
Yeah, well, like, okay, so he, like, drives up, first off, he, like, drives into town, he's all like, I'm gonna sell my house, I'm gonna get my money back and pay my daddy back, and, you know, he pulls up, and first he notices that, like, the little, like, dirt center of the driveway, because it's, like, a circular driveway, but there's, like, a flower bed in the middle. Like, there's a birdhouse suddenly, and there's, like, some little decor pieces, like, outdoor garden decor. And he's like, what the fuck?
There's a welcome mat.
Yeah, and then he goes up to the house, there's a welcome mat, and he's like, wait, what is happening? The ribbon is down, and then he walks into the house, and it has, like, the worst furniture in the freaking world.
Well, yeah, I think, it's literally just, like, hand-me-down furniture, I think, from Newton's parents.
No. Like, some of it is, but, like, some of it, the mom went with Gwen. Like, the mom and dad gave Gwen a check.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And Gwen and the mom became best friends in the process, too, like, by the way.
Yeah, like, the mom, like, adores Gwen, and the dad adores Gwen, and the mom takes Gwen shopping to get furniture for the house, and they pick out, like, some of the worst furniture I have ever seen.
I just want to point out, though, I bet you they didn't have that many options in Dobbs Mill, though. It's not like they had those, like, big-name furniture stores. They just had, they didn't have Cindy Crawford rooms to go.
I mean, yeah, it's not like they could just go to IKEA and pick up, like, cute stuff. But, like, every time you see the house, I'm just like, oh god, this furniture is just so ugly.
He walks in.
And then there's 5 different styles tossed together. It's just weird.
But you know what? Even though it's ugly, it goes together for Gwen's personality, though, because she is kind of like a vagabond.
It does fit Gwen, yes.
She's, she knows that she's just gonna have to leave in a pinch one day. Like, this gig is gonna be up one day. She's gonna have to leave, so she doesn't want to get stuff that she'll become attached to.
So, okay, can we also just talk about, there's a few things about the actual, like, interior of the house that's not the furniture that bug me. The kitchen bugs me. Like the clear fridge. I'm like, this is a kitchen a man designed.
Well, I mean, Newton Davis did design the house.
Like, this is a kitchen a man designed for someone who doesn't cook.
He also created a hidden room, like, that's hidden behind a bookcase.
Yeah, he created a hidden room.
Which comes up very casually at the end of the movie. Like, wait, the whole time there's a hidden room?
Yeah, like, just, oh yeah, I have a room hidden behind this bookcase. And, like, okay, this is something, I've actually seen this in houses when, like, I've been house hunting with my family and stuff. The master bathroom, like, in the actual bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no, like, wall separating it. It's, like, there's, like, a room for the toilet, but then, like, the bathtub and the shower are, like, in the bedroom. Like, there's no separation.
It's like when you get, like, the hot tub suite at a Las Vegas hotel.
Yeah.
The hot tub is literally just in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can basically just jump from the bed into the hot tub.
Yeah,
that's what you could have done in this bedroom. Like you know, if you gotta like take a piss or a shit, you gotta go into like a different room. But if you're gonna brush your teeth or take a shower, you're just in the bedroom. It's just a little weird. It's a little.
Yeah, there's no separation. That just bugged me. I was like, dude.
And going back to the hidden room, which is like brought up at the end of the movie, that is the perfect room for Becky to hide in. By the way,
for real.
Just want to throw that out there.
It's like, hey, dude, have you guys seen Becky lately? You know, we haven't. But there have been weird noises from the hidden room.
It's like our torture chamber.
Let's go check the hidden room.
It's our Lady Bat Cave.
Yeah.
All right. I also want to point out too, like we're like a good way into this movie, where Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn are reintroduced to each other. By the way, it's a good portion of time. Like I want to say maybe 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good chunk into the movie where she has created this world in Dobbs Mill. She has created this love story of her and Newton. You know, she's got like lunches with Becky and she has dinners with Mom and Dad. I don't know how she handles the fact that Newton hasn't come to town.
Yeah, I was going to say, no one really questions. Well, they kind of do question why he's not around, and she's like, oh, he's busy at work.
Well, yeah, because she's like, oh, yeah, well, he got that promotion. And everybody's like, oh, he did.
Yeah.
And, like, Becky's like, wait, maybe he's not the loser I thought he was.
Even Newton's parents are like, oh, I want to call up and congratulate him. And Gwen's like, well, no, he doesn't want to talk to anybody. You got to do all your communicating with him through me.
And all these people go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I guess it is like small town America. And even though it is the 90s, these people still live in like a Andy Griffith, Mayberry time frame in their minds. So they don't question this. It's like that episode of like Andy Griffith with like the grifter comes to town and everyone just falls victim to him.
Because they're like, they don't know any better because they've never dealt with this kind of thing before.
They're all wildly enthralled by her. She's definitely some kind of like temptress because she has a story for everything.
She's not like what they have seen before. They have like seen a bunch of Beckys.
Becky will have like some kind of like fruitful story to tell. And Gwen's like, oh yeah, well, you know what? Do you know what happened to me? And she just like one-ups the story, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, tell me more, Gwen!" And they just like push Becky aside. They just like literally kick her out of the room.
Yeah.
Everyone gathers around Gwen, and Becky just like at first she's kind of enthralled by the idea of Gwen, but as the movie goes on, especially when she sees Newton and Gwen interact, she begins to become bitter Becky, and she becomes even more drippier.
Well, like to be fair, she is used to getting Newton's attention. Like, she thrived on that attention and then has never gotten it from anybody besides Newton like that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
You know?
And then I want to point out, too, once Newton and Gwen are reintroduced to each other, how very quickly he goes along with the plot because he believes that living the sham marriage will allow him to get Becky back.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I want to live here permanently, so how about this? You let me live here, and we'll use this fake marriage for you to get Becky. And he's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, he's down.
The thing is, Gwen is a masterful con artist, but Newt is not. He has no skill whatsoever. So he's kind of like, she's created this world. He just doesn't know how to react to it, and he kind of messes up the stories.
He is not an improv actor like Gwen.
At one point, Becky is kind of like, I want to know how you guys met, and Gwen has this crazy story about how, you know, she was in some like horrible accident and she was wrapped in bandages, and he fell in love with her even though he had never seen her face, and the first time he saw her face was at their wedding.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love that story.
Becky's like, oh my god, that is the most beautiful story. I didn't know there was that side to Newt. And she's like, oh yeah, that's him. That's him in a nutshell. So we get like 30 minutes of them continuing up the charade. There's this kind of like back and forth sitcom shenanigans where it almost comes apart, but then Gwen saves the day at the last minute. Because Gwen literally gets a promotion for Newt.
Goes to the boss. This is like so like Laura Petrie, Samantha Stevens type thing where she just like drops in to like visit the boss. Like, I would never think to like drop in and visit like my boyfriend's boss and be like, hey, John's doing super good. He's really great at his job, Like, I'm like, no, he can earn that on his own.
So Gwen, when she's at Newt's boss's office, she kind of picks up on some hint that he's like a Navy man or something. Mm-hmm. So she starts talking about her Navy dad. They want to meet him. He wants to meet him, and Newt's parents want to meet her parents. We end up learning like she was like in a foster system or something, so she doesn't have parents.
Yeah.
So she has to like hire somebody to be her parents, and she ends up finding this homeless couple that hangs out in front of her old apartment back in Boston. She brings them back. She cleans them up.
Yeah.
These people are like drunks. They like rummage through trash, and they don't know how to act in functional society.
Okay, hold on. We got to remember there's the part before that happens. Newton and Becky almost sleep together.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So there's
we got to talk about that.
Okay.
Because in my 2020 mind, found it very difficult to believe that Steve Martin was a romantic leading man watching this scene of him and, like, Becky, like, he's pressed up against her, trying to undo her buttons, and I'm just like, this is not sexy. Was this supposed to be sexy? And she's all like, this is, like, the hottest thing that has apparently ever happened to Becky, because she is, like, ready. She's like, oh, Davis. Davis, they practically go at it at the fucking fireplace.
Yeah, so I was gonna point out, one, she has like 97 buttons on her blouse. I don't know, she has like a lot of buttons.
Yes.
And two, they lay down on the ground and like roll into a fireplace. And a part of me was like, oh god, I hope it's not one of those gas ones where they'll like accidentally ignite it and she just gets burnt alive. Like that's literally what I thought was gonna happen.
And like the fireplace is empty, it doesn't even have like something to put wood on.
No.
Those iron holders where you put like your logs.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know.
So
it's been a long time since I've seen a real fireplace, okay? Everything's gas these days.
Yeah, Newt's about to slip it into her, and she's like, wait, we can't do this until, I don't want to be the other woman. We got to wait till, you're separated from Gwen.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, all right. I'll figure that out. So he goes back to Gwen, and he's like, this is great. And
he brings her Chinese food.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was this whole part earlier where Gwen told Becky, like, it's like Chinese food. And Becky's like, I don't understand. And Gwen's like, well, it's like when you're trying to figure out what to make for dinner, but you just don't want to cook. And he just walks in with Chinese food. He's like, and he just knows. And then that's what Davis did, is he brought her Chinese food.
Yes. So, all right. So he brings her Chinese food. And I think that's the first moment that Gwen realizes that, you know what? It's her I like Josh from Clueless moment. She's like, I like Newton.
Yeah, it's like
that moment.
Yeah. It's like I like him. I like what we have going. How do I figure out how to keep this?
How to make this real.
And she doesn't think she can. This is when they kind of concoct the plan. They get into another fight. And this is when she's wearing the sweatshirt and leggings and this, like, weird pin. Like, this gigantic pin that I don't understand. They're, like, fighting, and he's like, well, if you do this for me, and then we can end it, if we do like this, we do the reception thing, you get to keep all the furniture, and I get Becky in the house.
And she's like, okay, but she's just saying that.
Then Gwen goes to the office and invites the boss so that Newton gets the promotion because he's going to see the house. And that's when she then goes and gets, like, the two homeless people to pretend to be her parents.
Yes. All right, so we get to the final scene. So I guess they're going to have a wedding, it's kind of like a renewal of their vows.
It's not even a renewal. What it is, it's just like a reception. It's like, hey, we got married, guys. we are now ready to celebrate this with you. It's like what people who elope do sometimes.
Okay.
Is they come back from like the elopement and then they have like a party with everybody because it's like way cheaper that way.
And the party's a disaster. I just want to point out the party's a disaster. At this point, I think Becky shows up. She realizes that she actually wants Newt.
Yeah, she wants that D. She got close to it and she wants it. She like felt however big it is or something.
Yeah.
She's not in plaid. This is the only damn time this bitch is not in plaid. She's in a fucking pink Marge Simpson Chanel suit.
Gwen's fake parents, they're just like a hot mess. Gwen's fake dad is literally just getting drunk at this event. Gwen's fake mom is just screaming at him like a fight's breaking out. Everyone's just like, what's going on here? The cracks are starting to show. You know, it's like, things are going to fall apart. Newt's like, this is great. This is fucking amazing. He's like, the things couldn't go better. But Gwen locks herself in the bedroom because she realizes that she actually like has feelings for Newt. And she's like, oh, you know what? I can't go through with this.
And she's like, she knows that like after today, things are going to change.
Yeah, so she's kind of depressed.
And she doesn't want them to change. She's not ready for it.
Yeah, but Newt's like, oh god, this is perfect. So they actually get into an argument in front of everybody, and they then walk away together to the pond. And everyone's looking at them. They're far enough away so like they can't hear the conversation. Gwen is actually crying. There are like legitimate tears falling down her cheeks. And Newt's like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
He's like, this is it. I walk away, you walk away, you get on that bus that's across the street right now. You go back to wherever. I don't really care where you go. Here's a check. Take it. I'm going to walk back. I'm going to grab Becky and I don't know, we're going to have sex in the secret room. She walks away. He does his thing. And I forget, what's his revelation? Like, what's his I don't know why, but it just kind of slips my mind, like when he realizes that he actually has feelings for Gwen.
I think Becky actually tries to like get him alone, and he's like, "Ooh, this isn't what I want. I gotta go find Gwen." Like he was just like trying to beg Gwen to come out, and she walked out, and then Becky's like, "Oh, Davis," and he's like, "This is not it. This little pixie cut plaid wearing bitch is not who I want. I want the feisty legging sweatshirt blonde."
It's almost...
who I never know what's going to happen with.
It's almost kind of like Jerry Seinfeld seeing his girlfriend in the wrong light kind of thing.
Yes.
Newt just sees Becky in a different light for like 1 second. Like maybe it's just a bad angle or something. Or maybe, you know what, maybe it's the Marge Simpson Chanel dress or something. You're like, you know what?
Yeah, it's like this... No.
No, it ain't working. So he runs to the bus stop. She's like literally about to get on it. And he's like, wait! And he throws himself at her. They hug and kiss, and they live happily ever after, question mark, I guess. And Becky becomes a crazy cat lady.
Stalking this poor family for the next, 20 years.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you think by the time they have, kids who graduate high school, Becky, finally stopped. The kids were like, listen, lady. No, because you know what happens? Gwen and Newton's son turns 18, and Becky tries to seduce that kid.
Oh, it's like
will you clean my pool?
Yeah.
I love the world in my head about this.
I need someone to program the DVD player for me. I don't know how to use it.
Can you show me how to use the TiVo?
Yeah. I just bought this TiVo. I don't know how to use it. I just want to watch 47 episodes of Dog the Bounty Hunter tonight, and I can't find them. I don't know where they are. And he's like, all right, you just hit this button right here.
I just need to record Antique Roadshow, please.
And I can picture him.
Please, young Davis. Can you help me?
Young Davis has the TiVo remote in his hand, and he's pointing to the menu button, and then she touches his hand, and you got to show me where to point exactly. And he's like, you just push this button. And then she's like, I got some other buttons you can push. And then she leads him upstairs. He's like, this is fucking weird. Who's this old bitch? I can't believe my dad.
He's like, why is the crazy lady obsessed with my dad, dragging me upstairs? And she's like, young Davis, take me. And he's like, yeah. I don't know what to do. Bye.
She's like a not hot version of Stifler's mom in this scenario.
Yes.
It would be like if Stifler's mom had botched plastic surgery, but she still thought she was hot.
She'd be like, young Davis, take me in the fireplace. And he's like, no, Miss Metcalf. I need to go. I'm supposed to meet my girlfriend, Lydia, down by the lake. Bye.
And by the way, having sex in a fireplace is not safe.
Like, it's scary. Like, it's dirty and scary. Yeah. Like,
all that soot. And you know what? It's gas pipes. And you know what? All the cat has to do is just accidentally step on the on button on the remote and turn that thing on, and we'll be scorched to death. I love it. I love it. We need this world. We need it now. We've laid the movie out. We went through it beat by bit. We've created a fictional universe that takes place after this movie. Mm-hmm. This movie came out in 1992. It's now 2020. Nearly 30 years old. Nearly 30 years later. How would you say? Would you say this movie holds up? Would you say it's still a fun jaunt through the early 90s?
Okay, it's a fun movie to watch. Can I say it, like, half holds up and half doesn't? It's not a total cringe fest of, like, oh my god, what is this hot mess? Like, there are things, like, in today's world, be like, 3 text messages and this whole thing's done. All it would take if this happened in, like, 2020, all it would take is for Becky to, like, shoot off a text to or a DM to Newton on Instagram or something and be like, hey, I just met your wife, Gwen. Congratulations. And he's like sitting at his desk next to his little devil worshipping buddy going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like what? The fuck?
And then 10 minutes later, mom sends a text like, congratulations on getting married. Why didn't you tell me? And it's like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it from that perspective. I mean, it's definitely a whimsical, quirky comedy. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Mm-hmm. And it's still funny. It's still a cute story. It's not entirely evil. I mean, I guess it's kind of like shitty that, they basically just tricked all their family and friends and conned them basically into getting money to furnish and continue the charade, But
isn't that really what marriage is?
That is true. And I was going to say no one technically got hurt physically, so... Yeah.
I mean, the only one who got hurt really in the end is Becky.
Yeah, and we don't care about her anyway.
And that's all on Becky.
Yeah, she could have avoided all this mess just by saying yes initially, but nope. Nope, she had to be a fool. Yeah, but all right. But overall, I would say the skill leans more in the holds up factor than the not so holds up factor. So it's still a good movie, and it still gets regular air. It's on like HBO Max or something right now, I think, airing currently.
Yeah, it's like on HBO.
Yeah.
So okay, so this is the thought. If I'm flipping through the cable channels or like the guide or whatever on a Saturday morning while I'm trying to like vacuum the house or whatever, clean up and stuff, and this movie comes on, I'll put it on.
I love your basis for movies is you relate them to doing chores around the house, like laundry or something.
Okay.
That should be like that should be the new rating system. Would Kat leave this movie on while she's folding laundry?
You know what? I need to decide what movie I'm going to watch while I go fold laundry and pack clothes and shit, so.
Would your boyfriend listen to this movie while at work on his headphones? Not watch it. Would he listen to it? No,
my boyfriend would not listen to this.
I love it.
My boyfriend, he'll put on like those Disney movies we talked about, and then he also listens to this podcast that I hate because I hate the host. He creeps me out. I want to punch him in the face.
Can we drop the name of it?
It's Time Suck.
Yeah, I know the name. I know that.
With Dan Cummins. Like, the guy doesn't blink. He does, like, a video podcast, and he doesn't blink, and I just want to be like, blink, motherfucker, blink. And he's just, like, disrespectful in the way he tells, like, true crime stories and stuff. I'm just like, no.
He's, like, pro the killer, victim shaming.
Like, there's a weird tone. See, like, when I watch true crime stuff on YouTube, I'm picky about who I watch. There's, like, 3 that I really like. There's maybe like 5 that I watch. There's 2 that, like, depending on where their tone starts to go, I'll turn them off. So
Yeah, I definitely like my true crimes to be victim sympathizers and not, focus so much on the killer.
Yeah.
You want the listener or the viewer to feel grief and sympathy for the victims and not glorify the killer or the killing process.
Yeah.
That's our tip. That's our pro tip to all the true crimer podcasters out there.
Yeah, and he swears too much for me.
Ooh.
When talking about it. Just no, there's a time and a place, and I say this as someone who swears a lot.
Well, all right. Time suck with Dan Cummins. Sorry.
But, it's just off-putting.
Sorry that we shamed you on this podcast. We won't do that ever again. Please listen to us.
It's the point where my boyfriend was surprised I watched true crime stuff.
Please continue to listen to us.
This part probably won't make it into the actual episode.
You know what? We'll do the Dream Man thing where we bleep out the name, so we just let people wonder what the podcast is, and that'll just be a new recurring gag on the podcast.
Dream Man got a new puppy. Did you see?
Dream Man got a new puppy, and he gave himself a haircut. That's another clue as to his identity. All right.
I feel like Heather probably knows who Dream Man is.
She thought she knew, but then we actually may have said his name in an episode of a podcast once, and I didn't bleep it out, so...
That's true.
That's true. So that's another clue. For those at home... For those at home who are solving the mystery through our various podcasts and streams. All right. Would you say it's time to close the book on movie night? It's time to rewind the tape and bring it back to Blockbuster?
Yes, I think it's time to be kind and rewind.
Yep. Put it back in the case.
Before we drop this in the slot.
Yeah, it's late at night. It's 11:30. The store's closed, and you're just gonna slip it in the mailbox slot and hope they find it the next day, and they don't accidentally charge you again for a second rental.
Yeah.
Pray that they find it.
Saw it there.
Yeah.
The morning guy wasn't too high when he was collecting them.
Or you gave it to your friend to drop off.
Too hungover.
Or you gave it to your friend to drop off and pray that he doesn't accidentally put it in his glove box and forget about it. And find it 6 months later.
Find it 6 years later, and you're like, no, this movie got returned.
You're like, why was my credit card charged $47 for Housesitter?
Yeah.
That movie doesn't even cost $47, but yet they're charging me that much. All right. It's time. Be kind. Rewind. And where else can you follow our adventures, Cat Hall said the author. Where can you follow us?
You can find us on Twitter at Very Podcast. Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. Anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find us. You found us somehow. You subscribed to our Patreon to get this, unless somebody shared it with you. I don't know what else to say.
As always, girl, as always.
Bye!
Watch the skies for Dana Delaney hiding in a tree, spying on you.